Welcome back. Getting back to that Krugersdorp story, 80 suspects who were arrested over the weekend following the gang rape of 8 women at West Village will return to the Krugersdorp Magistrate's Court this morning. Now, 60 adults and 20 minors appeared briefly on Monday morning on charges of contravening the Immigration Act. They were arrested during a mass police raid following the rape of the women at an abandoned mine dump last Thursday. Now, the suspects from various neighbouring countries were processed individually, and the matter was postponed in order to allow the accused to obtain legal representation as well as for an identity parade to be conducted. SABC reporter Hasina Gori has been on the beat on this one for us. So Hasina, welcome to Morning Live. Obviously a story that has grabbed the headlines, but it's a story perhaps we should start by indicating that this is something that has been reported about, not the latest mass rape incident, but we know the stories around the Krugersdorp, Randfontein, that West Rand area, and especially at West Village. So let's just start there with the feeling, the sentiment of the community, knowing that they have been crying out for help for so many years. As you mentioned, Sakina, it's something we've been reporting on over the years. The community, when we've been in there from Saturday, have been saying we've been going to the police. We've got community forums, we've gone to the mayor, we've gone to the, the municipal levels, the parliament levels as well, and no one listens to us. They also feel as if police are in cohorts with the illicit mining activities that are happening there, that they protect. And they're also scared as well. What we saw from police as well is that they're scared to also go into some of those areas because of how heavily armed, these illegal miners are as well. But for the community saying that, while this is a tragic incident, they hope that some help will finally come. We spoke to many women who've come out publicly, some speaking to us, anonymously saying they've been raped in their homes. You have instances of them being taken out of their cars and just, stripped naked. We have robberies. One female told us that just a few weeks ago, someone was shot in the face, in that area, just meters away from that abandoned mine dumps. Police, when we asked them this question, putting to them, have they been reactive? They say operations around illegal minings have been going on for the last 2 years in 4 hotspot areas. However, they've conceded that in this specific area in Krugersdorp, they have dropped the ball. They are now hoping to, put in more kind of measures to, secure the area. But really, nothing really has been done. These communities are just complaining. They're scared. This is their lived reality. They hear the guns every day. They see these foreign nationals that come in and terrorize them. They said during lockdown was also quite a difficult time because they were stuck in their homes, and they became the area that these illegal miners will, come and rob every few days. So this is really their sentiment. And I think it's important that we highlight the plight of the community once more. There was a very chilling moment yesterday during the operation, the sting operation carried out by the police, where there was a woman who was interacting with Minister Begicele. And, her words really stung because she said, and I'm paraphrasing, she said that, yes, you have this incident, not trying to downplay it or to minimize what has happened. It's horrific. But she has been raped, I think she said, by 20 men or something like that. And, that really just shook me to the core. And it again just highlighted how these problems, these crimes have been ongoing. But she showed her face to camera, where we know that many people in this community, in West Village, are not prepared to do that. They speak anonymously because of fear of reprisal. What we've seen a lot is people really, really being scared. I think for that woman, it's come to a point of frustration as well. There are some community leaders saying, and one of the community members that came to me to speak said, I was scared to speak. I am still scared to speak, but others are now speaking on behalf of us. They don't understand the actual issues. They've, decided that they have their own agendas that they want to push forward. So if the community doesn't speak out themselves, they feel that they're, again, not being listened to, that their issues are being swept up and being politicized or, used for some other activist agenda. So really, I think that's also the reason why we're seeing them coming forward, realizing that if they don't tell us their story and in their words of what they're going through, people are grabbing on. It is, as you said, grabbing headlines. So people do want to, maximize that kind of coverage that's coming with it and show support. However, for them, they're saying
They want to see more police on the ground. They want visibility in those areas. And I think what also has come out in this tragic incident is highlighting and spotlighting all the criminality that's been going on. We have gender-based violence. We all know the stats around that in this country, but also the illicit trade of guns, as well as mining, but also just the undocumented migrants that are coming in here as well. They have their own criminality. That's also another layer that's just been added to it. Many of these are minors. We saw someone as young as 12 years of age yesterday being arrested. And the minister did mention that while they are clamping down on these operations at ground level, every other day they just mushroom up again. So they're now also trying parallel activities with the big kingpins, because if these operations are running, that means there's money being made. It is profitable, and who's profiting from it? Because there was no gold that was found on any of these suspects that were found, even at the operations we went through yesterday. So it's now looking at where exactly the money flows are and trying to clamp down, because I feel like some of these operations are just only dealing with the symptoms and not the actual bigger problems that we have.
Hasina, the incident of the police being outgunned, I asked that question to Minister Cele, and lo and behold, there was an incident yesterday.
Yesterday, there was a shootout at one of the spaces that we went to. It was actually the cell where they were living at that point. And one person, we can confirm yesterday in the late evening, was told that he was fatally wounded. So one person was shot. We've seen that. We asked the question also to the minister, saying, where are these guns coming from? Are they coming from the corrupt police kind of SAPs? And what he said is that these guns are not even the kind of ammunition that you find in South Africa or used by the police. So again, coming in from our porous borders, mostly from Mozambique. Also, I'm sure you've heard that bite of a lady who was being used as a messenger and a delivery for these ammunition, quite a large number. And what's also quite important is that this week, it is Krugersdorp, that, the community up in arms. 2 weeks ago, it was the community of Nomzamo. We've seen that in Alexandra. We've seen it in Mariel Hill, in Pietermaritzburg as well. And these communities are really saying that they feel that the police on the ground are not equipped. They do not have enough training. They are scared as well themselves to actually protect communities. So something needs to be done. We spoke with the provincial commissioner yesterday, asking him this, saying, why can't the police be beefed up on a local level? And he conceded as well that they don't have enough skills. They also fearful themselves. We saw that in court during the proceedings as well, with the police officers not wanting to go down into the cells to call up the suspects, but screaming their names from the top. So there is a fear from their side. And if that is an issue, that needs to be done, because their role is to protect South Africans. And you cannot use an excuse of we, outnumbered or we're fearful, when there seems to be now capability to come in when they have these joint operations of different levels of brass that come out with high tech, such as the canine dogs, the biological dogs, the drones. So why can't that be used on an everyday for ensuring that we see those communities protected?
And Hasina, of course, just following up on that mass gang rape on Thursday. So we were told there would be an identity parade. Has that happened as yet?
We tried to find that out yesterday, so we got no proper answer from the police yet. On Sunday, still, the statements hadn't been taken from victims, because they were still ensuring their psychosocial and mental well-being was, first done. So once that's done, hopefully when we get into court today, that there's an ID parade was done, which the magistrate did make sure. He asked specifically for a date, saying he was not going to postpone for no reason. There should be a date, and also hoping that the DNA is also done, so that some of those from that 80 that were arrested can be linked to this rape. And this is just not a reaction to this crime where mass arrests are done and then no prosecutions come out of it.
And that is, of course, if any of these 80 suspects were in fact involved in those mass gang rapes. But also, Minister Cele spoke on Monday when he was on the show about the caste from which these 8 women came. And he said there were 12 women, there were 10 men. So do we know whether there's been any further investigation to find out exactly what went on, why in the first instance they were there? Was it in fact to shoot a music video, as it's been alleged, or is there any new information in that regard?
So we're still trying to piece together, it's quite a sensitive story at the moment. Even speaking to the victims at this point is quite difficult. Their families also are going through the ordeal. We did put this question to the head of the detectives as well, and they said that they are looking at every single possibility. What's quite worrying is that we've seen no production house come out, or any statements from any musician whose music videos was allegedly being shot. So there hasn't been really much information. It's also quite worrying that only half or three-quarter of that group of the women were only raped. It's worrying what led to them being all there as well. And I think as the process continues, we'll get more information to kind of piece together what exactly took place on Thursday at that mine dump.
So just finally, as you said, the psychosocial issues being attended to with the victims, but the rest of the cast, do we know whether the police have spoken to them?
So we're told that they were interviewing all of them. We did get some info off the record saying that some of the details were wrong that were given as well. So they are now trying to find the rest of the crew to ensure that everyone can give a statement in and account for what happened.
Hasina Gori, we'll leave it there for now. Thanks so much. Our reporter on that Krugersdorp story for us, Hasina Gori, and she'll be making her way to court because there will be another appearance this morning. So she'll be keeping us abreast of those developments.